Hello, Shaker Heights varsity hockey fans. Welcome back into the Brunswick Automart Arena. This time we're not here for the Padua Holiday Tournament. Well, the holiday just passed. Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates. Shaker Heights now comes in as per usual for the last at least 4 years since we've started calling these games. Shaker Heights is entering into the Walsh Jesuit hosted Greg Shupe Memorial Tournament, and Shaker Heights is coming into this one the second to lowest ranked team, but keep in mind it's only a 4-team tournament. Walsh Jesuit actually being the highest ranked in this tournament. They enter it at number 12. Rocky River, who Shaker will play tomorrow, is ranked number 14. Shaker sits back at number 22. They fell down once more again, and then Menor is at number 23. But how much do these rankings actually matter? Well, clearly, as we saw in the opening game of the tournament, not too much. Rocky River actually tied Menor 4-4 with a last-second goal coming from Menor. It was under 5 seconds left to go in the game, and Menor was able to tie it up at 4 each. And so they now have, as we saw in the Padua Holiday Tournament, it'll be a period-by-period point-based system tournament. We can explain that later on, but they each got 2.5 points going to their standings, so all is even so far. And of course, Shaker Heights and Walsh Jesuit entering into this game with nothing because they have not played a game yet. Now, Shaker is 0-2 against Walsh Jesuit this season. They started off on November 16th, their second game of the season, at their own rink in Thornton Park. They fell to them 5-3 in a GLHL contest, and then they fell to them once again on December 14th, once again at the Thornton Park Ice Arena. It was 6-3 with Walsh Jesuit getting the victory. That was not a GLHL game. Instead, that was just a part of the Thornton Park tournament. That will not count to GLHL standings, just like this game taking place in front of you right now. Now, last year, Shaker Heights actually won this tournament here at the Brunswick Automart Arena. They beat Walsh Jesuit to open things up. 3-1 was their final there. Then they had a big upset against Rocky River. 4-3 was their final there. And then they fell to Menor. However, they were able to scrap away a point in the final period, which was able to get them that tournament victory, and Menor ended up as the runner-up to the tournament. Now, Shaker in this tournament is not the favorite. That would be Walsh Jesuit as Shaker enters in today. 5-8-3. Walsh Jesuit entering in 9-6-2. And in that last Padua Holiday Tournament, in which Walsh Jesuit was also a competitor, they actually tied Sylvania Northview, but they also did fall to Findlay. So a lot of contradicting pieces as we enter into this game. The question is, can Shaker finally get the better of Walsh Jesuit here in the 25-26 season? Thank you very much for tuning in. Vaughn Ullum on the call. We're going to send you down. As we mentioned, a lot of contradicting feelings. There's just a lot of different sides to the story. Sides that can give Shaker hope, but plenty that also will not give them hope. As we mentioned, they are not the favorites in this game. Walsh Jesuit is honestly the favorite of their own tournament this season. And Shaker Heights in their all-red look once again. And they look for an upset that they've been looking for in those last two competitions. Again, on November 16th and December 14th. So it's been a minute since each. It's been about 2 weeks since that last game at Thornton Park. But since then, they've had a lot of time to try to at least figure things out. They took on, of course, a lot of tough competition. We actually were not able to call the final game of that Padua Holiday Tournament. I personally fell ill in that last day of the tournament. Shaker Heights tied St. John's Jesuit in a 2-2 final to get them that third tie on the season. But Walsh Jesuit, as they come into this one, look for their 10th win already on the year. Shaker Heights looks to find that win column once again. And we'll see if they can do it. That first line of offense back out there once again in the form of Connor Mayhew, Colin Arth, and Sebi Juan on defense. You're going to be getting Cole Richard as your right defenseman, Teddy McGinnis as your left. Colin Arth going to be tied up off the draw, trying to poke it forward as Cole Richard, but it'll fall all the way back into their own zone. Now this one going to dump all the way down. It'll get past number 18 of the Warriors. Now Shaker Heights in this one is outsized, and that's how it was, of course, in the last couple of games against Walsh Jesuit. They haven't exactly been shrinking. So Shaker Heights, once again, will need to play almost a bit more physical. We saw that as a big issue in the Padua Holiday Tournament, as Shaker Heights was just getting physically outmatched. Ooh, that time Walsh Jesuit was able to try to sneak one on net. That shot coming from number 15, Danny Grasha. And now it looks like we are going to have the play blown dead as the net goes out of place in the Shaker Heights side. So 14-16 left to go in this first period of play. Nothing. Your score, and we're going to be getting some line changes. I believe a fresh set of 5 for both sides. And your second line of offense, once again, here today is going to be Max Brokaw, Axel Schneider, and Isaac Lazar. Now your puck in the net picks today are Max Brokaw. That belongs to the cameraman, Jeffrey Ullum. He took him once also in the Padua Holiday Tournament. He was almost able to sneak one through. I am once again going to take Lappin as my own. 14 minutes left to go on the Shaker Heights icing. Colby Mayhew is in attendance. I'm just going to assume that he took Connor Mayhew. Wasn't able to reach us before the broadcast started. So here's Jeffrey Ullum's puck in the net pick. Max Brokaw trying to poke that one out, but it's still kept in. Shaker Heights pressured early on in their own side. Here it's snatched away by Dylan Orsepke, who's been doing well on the defensive side. Hasn't been able to get many shots going through, but that's not exactly the goal of any sort of defenseman, unless you're Cole Richard, where we saw him, even freshman year, make some big plays on offense, but we'll see how this one goes today for the defenseman. Here comes Zurkowski. Zurkowski taking it up through the blue line. He'll take the shot, kick save, secondary chance, and save made by the butterfly position of Marios Kalergis. And with 13:22 to go in the first period, it remains scoreless. Man, oh man, Walsh Jesuit is coming out swinging though. Here's Lappin to take the face-off for Shaker Heights. This time he was up against Van Tegem. Here comes the shot all the way from the point, that time Borachevsky. But once again, a butterfly save made by Kalergis. On the other side, your starting goaltender once again going to be Nathan Lombard. In both of the games against Shaker Heights, he's let 3 come on through. Unfortunately for Shaker Heights, they've allowed 5 or 6 to come through on Kalergis' net. So here is Lincoln Goldstein. We're going to start on the third pairing of defense. He's out there currently with McGinnis. Isaac James giving chase this time. He's up against Keegan Sprang, one of the 4 defensemen honored behind the net of Lombard. Lombard currently covering this one up. You got Pasek, you got Sprang, Lombard, and Sprinzel as the 4 seniors on Walsh Jesuit this season. First line forwards returning for Shaker, and looks like Walsh Jesuit might follow suit here. Referee waiting as Grasha got too antsy. Referee telling them to move away from the circle, and eventually he'll do just that. Here right off the rip, Barth takes the shot, rebound opportunity here, trying to sneak it through was Mayhew, but a great stretch of the left leg and a save by Lombard once again. Lombard with some incredible saves, always comes out with his best stuff, even though he's allowed 3 goals in each of the contests. It's been some great opportunity, and here a bad rebound given up right to the stick of number 28. Warner Lloyd scores. Warner Lloyd, first goal of the game here for the Warriors, and now it's time for already a little bit of catch-up from the Red Raiders. We'll see what they can do. Schneider to take this draw. As actually here's going to be the first line forwards. It's Eni, Bukzak, and Zurkowski. Zurkowski winning that draw against Schneider. And here Bukzak on the near side. Here's another one of the sophomores. He had an incredible freshman year, at least against Shaker. He did exceptionally well. Here, Orsepke loses this one in the neutral zone. Here comes the shot from Zurakowski, taking it up the left wing. But once again, the save made by Kalergis. Big-time save after the goal. So 7-1 goes your shots on goal count to the advantage of the Warriors. 12-12 left to go here in this first period. Not a whole lot of time has expired. A lot of face-offs early on in this one. How many face-offs have we had to this point? Already been 7 face-offs in the opening 3 minutes. Make that 8. And now here pressuring up is Max Brokaw. Isaac Lazar joining forces. Here trying to get the neutral zone turnover with Schneider, but as they were all pressuring up, they now need to retreat back into the neutral zone. Here's a good opportunity on a 2-on-1 if they're able to get there first. Schneider trying to poke this one forward. He's able to get it to Lazar. Lazar taking it up left side. Up against Zurakowski. He's bumped off the play, and eventually the big man Zabinski will pick it up for the Warriors in the far side corner. Zabinski getting it up, looking for Dominic Eni. Eni bumped off the play that time by Orsepke, but Orsepke leaves Zurakowski alone once again, and the save made by Kaler, just praying that the puck ends up between his legs as he opens up here. And indeed, save is made by Kalergis, so 1-0 remains your score. Walsh in the lead. $11.5 left to go. Off the draw, it's snatched away by Richard. Richard leaves it Mayhew. Mayhew going to skate it up past his own blue line. Through his own blue line, he's working here up against Connor Pulley. Trying to work it in, but Pulley and friends will end up working it back away. Here's Cole Richard, again, one of the more offensive defensemen in the GLHL entirely. Sebi Juan going to pick it up as he was poked away from. Now McGinnis trying to keep it in at the point, and indeed he will. He'll rip the shot, that time Colin Arth. Mayhew trying to get it back, this time up against number 18. Here's an opportunity for Juan. He'll leave it here to Arth. Arth with a nifty move, and the shot into the top right corner. He scores. Big time shot from Colin Arth. A deke move that had everyone holding their breath for a minute in the slot, and he's able to pop it through over the left shoulder of Nathan Lombard. So we're back to a tied game. A lot of excitement already through the first less than 5 minutes of this first period. A lot of action already. It's good to see from both sides. So here off the draw, Isaac Lazar going to be pushed down here by Shannon. Lazar trying to get back over to the puck possession. Axel Schneider going to try to dump this in. Hits off the skate of Brokaw, so we're held up here along the Walsh Jesuit blue line. And Walsh Jesuit works to clear. Shannon taken down by Orsepke. Isaac Lazar trying to get it back, but he'll pass it at the slot where no one was home. I believe he thought Orsepke would be back with him. And in the neutral zone, Walsh Jesuit pressured too heavily. They just have to dump this one through. Shaker will work to clear it out. Here, Brokaw taking it actually deeper into the zone. Here it's going to go to Cam Mayhew. Mayhew is pass off the boards, misses the mark on Lazar. They have it back. Here's the senior passing. Shot save made off the glove of Kalergis as the rebound's given up. Shaker's able to control, and here comes Isaac Lazar taking it up the left wing. He'll put the brakes on and eventually just dump this one through as he'll hop off for a change. Brokaw, the one last guy out there on the offensive line. He's joined now by Lappin, and who's the last guy? Elliot Hanna. Here, Brokaw still out there fighting for the puck possession here against Shannon of the Warriors, but they will clear it out eventually with the help of Zabinski and Van Tegem. This shot, ooh, all the way from the blue line. Trying to get it back here is Hanna, but no secondary shot is available for him. So now the forward line going to go to Isaac James, Elliot Hanna, and Gavi Lappin. Bookzak will dump this one through into the far side corner of Shaker's attacking zone. Getting there here, it's going to be McGinnis. It's caught behind the net in the trapezoid. That doesn't mean anything here in the high school level of the OHSAA rulebook. 9 minutes left to go in this first period of play. 1-1 your score. Goals coming from Warner Lloyd of Walsh Jesuit, and the tying goal for Shaker Heights coming from Colin Arth just a moment ago. Isaac James with a shot that goes wide off to the left. Cam Mayhew, ooh, was going to try to get there, but Colin Arth picked up the assignment instead. So now behind the net. We'll work around, and Nicole Richard with a blast. And oh, almost a great opportunity that time. Juan was looking for a secondary chance, but he overskated it. Man, that took some awkward bounces, about 3 bounces right in front. Cole Richard looking for another opportunity, and this one going to be poked away with the help of Zurkowski of the Warriors. Now this one, as it's wrapped around, they were looking for Connor Mayhew. 8:20 left to go in the first period behind the net. Arth and Mayhew going to lose this one up as it's taken by the captain Keegan Sprang. Sprang wraps this one back around. Zurkowski will take it, pass it right off the backhand to Arth. Arth tries to pass this one up, but in a rush. The pass goes awry to Juan. And now the captain, Cole Richard, fighting for it still between the blue lines. And oh, here taken down is Sebi Juan. Surprisingly, no call that time on a penalty. We immediately looked to the Walsh Jesuit bench, and they were crying for a penalty as well. 7:45 left to go in the first period. 1-1 your score. This one taken over by the captain for a moment, Richard. And now here an opportunity right out in front. Kalair just able to track it down with the many bodies in front of him. Bookzak was trying to lay one on net, and indeed he did, but the save made once again by Kalair. 7.5 left to go in this first period. 1-1 your score between the GLHL opponents. Shaker Heights and Walsh Jesuit. Again, Shaker Heights, the lone public school that participates in the Great Lakes Hockey League. Here, Isaac Lazar with a good turnover. Max Brokaw trying to lay this one on, but a sprawling out in front of him is Lombard, and he's able to make the save with 7:22 to go in the first. Great pressure that time out of Shaker. Schneider to take this draw. Lazar to his right. Brokaw to his left. On defense, currently Goldstein and Ersepke. The two sophomores working to keep it out of their zone. Here, Isaac Lazar, however, working in the attacking area of the ice. Here, Axel Schneider going to take a man down. Lazar trying to get it back, and indeed he will. However, that pass goes off the skate. Might have been on the referee there in the face-off circle. Here, Goldstein overskates this one. Brokaw needs to jump over the puck that time so he doesn't touch up. And he avoids the offsides as Walsh Jesuit skates all the way through, or I suppose dumps it through to Shaker's own side. Here's the big man, Zabinski. Zabinski sends this one through. They're up against the line that scored that first goal of the game. Here, Gracias thrown up against the boards. Now here's Lloyd, the goal scorer, pressuring Elliot Hanna from behind. Hanna's able to get it past the blue line. He'll pass it to the defenseman, Ersepke. Ersepke just dumps this one on net, and as he's pressured by Isaac James, fresh off the bench, Lombard is just going to cover this one up for a face-off. 6.5 left to go in this first period of play. So it was 7-1 in shots on goal to the advantage of Walsh Jesuit, and they still do have the advantage, but now it is 9-6. Shaker Heights has even things up a lot. 1-1 remains your tied affair. Richard wrapping this one around. Isaac James going to get there first, but he's thrown up along the boards by Connor Pulley. Now here Grasha overskates it along the boards. Here playing a physical game that time was McGinnis, and deciding not to play it with a high stick was James, but giving an opportunity to Warner Lloyd the other way as the cross-ice feed came his way. And here Lappin thrown down along the near side boards, that time by number 18. But here comes Cole Richard looking for another offensive opportunity. He'll take the shot, but Lombardo here centering feed. He was looking for Lappin. Lappin tried to sneak it through the 5-hole, but once again, save made by Nathan Lombard. Here's spraying up the left wing. He's up against Ted McGinnis in this cross-ice feed. Ooh, into the slot was Grasha working his way through to the slot. Man, oh man, great opportunity that time for the Warriors. Here's Richard back in his own side, up along the boards by Van Tegem. Banks it off the near side glass, and here comes Arth with a burst of speed. He's already got one, looking for two as he's tripped up on the shot. No penalty assessed that time. 5.5 left to go in the first period. Here's Ersepke. Ersepke keeping it in along the point, trying to still clear it out as Van Tegem. Here's Arth with another opportunity, trying to put it up in front for Schneider's deeper in to the attacking zone. Now Schneider held up along the far side boards. He's out there with Arth and with Juan. You can imagine the next opportunity that Schneider gets, he'll be hopping off. And indeed, as we get the icing, Schneider will indeed kick that lazy skate back. And actually what we're going to get here as a result is Connor Mayhew's going to come out with Brokaw and with Lazar. On defense, Ersepke will remain. Cam Mayhew going to join the function as well. 5:03 to go in the first period. 1-1 tied score through the first 10 minutes. Off the draw, off the tie-up. This one sent cross ice. Zabinski, again, really the biggest guy on the ice. It's number 23. Reminds us a bit of what Isaiah Jolly was back for Shaker when he wore number 23. It's kind of that same look. Here, the wraparound pass from Zabinski goes through the skates. After taking a bounce off the skate of the referee, set up in the near side corner of the Walsh Jesuit zone. Here's a 4-on-2 if they hurry. Now a 3-on-2. Here the shot goes wide off to the left side. 4.5 left to go in the first period. Zabinski picks it up at the point. He's working to get this puck back and keep it in the zone. He was working with Bookzak, and Bookzak will indeed keep it in and wrap it back around. Now behind the net and in the trapezoid set up behind. Oh, here's a bad turnover that time to Bookzak. That was all on Cam Mayhew. Rough pass out of the junior defenseman. And you could see him immediately after the play. He held his head in his hands. That was not the play. Sent right in the slot. And immediately a quick little backhand off the stick of Bookzak, and we are back at a Walsh Jesuit 1-goal lead. 2-1 your score. Lappin to take this face off. Here up against Connor Pulley. You got Elliot Hanna and Isaac James to Lappin's sides. Here Lappin wins this one back. But with a burst of speed comes Lloyd off the draw, and it goes into the far side corner. McGinnis tries to poke it free. And now here the pass, just missed Lappin, who was looking one way instead of the other, and the puck glided right past him. But here Lappin going to try to take it back. Tries to bank it off the near side board past Borachevsky. And here, referees getting yelled at by the Red Raider bench for the offsides, and indeed it should have been. Less than 4 minutes to go in the first period. This pass all the way up to Lappin. Lappin dekes around one man, that's Zabinski. Lappin trying to get it back around Connor Pulley. Held up along the far side face-off circle. Isaac James now giving chase here up against Grasha. Isaac James with some good work, keeping it in that corner, waiting for help from the bench. And we'll go to Keegan Sprang along the near side. The captain pressured by the alternate captain, Arth. Arth goes for another shot. It's blocked by Pulley out in front of him. This one lifted all the way through. It'll get to Warner Lloyd, but Lloyd pressured by 3 Red Raiders, but Grasha will get there first as the help comes through for the Warriors. And now this will clear out of the zone. Arth up along the Red Raider blue line, and he's tripped up as Pulley will touch up here in the neutral zone. We'll get our first penalty of the game. 3 minutes left to go in the first period, but it'll be 2 minutes of that on the man advantage for the Red Raiders. We'll see who they assess, and will indeed be Grasha. So big opportunity for Shaker Heights to even up this period, especially in a point-by-point standing system. Lazar taking this face off. Brokaw to his right. Arth not out there for this one. I'm not exactly sure what we're waiting. Oh, we're waiting on the scoreboard to get updated to the 2 minute. And indeed we'll get it up there. And Isaac Lazar wins this back to Cole Richards, so Shaker Heights gets to work. Here's Brokaw. Brokaw waits along the far side boards. He'll drop it off here to Juan. Juan almost lost it in the far side face-off circle. Now taking over Cole Richard. Juan tripped up, no call. Max Brokaw will look for the shot, and then rebound is given up, but covered up by a slap down on the leather of Nathan Lombard. Any changes here for Shaker? Yes, indeed. They're going to put Arth out on to the man advantage. Brokaw will hop off. Much to the chagrin of our puck in the net pick right there. Jeffrey Ullum, the cameraman. Isaac Lazar takes this face-off up against Zurkowski, and it's one over to Cole Richard, back up at the point. Here's Arth. Arth looking cross-ice that time for Connor Mayhew. Just missed the mark on the pass. Cole Richard goes back down to the other side of the blue line with Arth. Arth waits. Arth gives it over to Connor Mayhew once again, but it'll hit off of his backhand. And back up Cole Richard. Richard whiffed on the shot, and Eney's able to clear it down, and Zurkowski and Eney going to give chase here. with a burst of speed. Getting on the back check is Arth. He'll shut off the pass, and Shaker Heights will try to clear it down now to Isaac Lazar, and it's back in Red Raider possession. They're working in transition, a 2-on-2. Here comes Arth up the right wing. Will he take the shot? No, that's the smart move, as Shaker Heights will keep possession and bring it back up to Max Brokaw, who's fresh off the bench. Cole Richard goes cross ice this time. He's looking for Mayhew. Mayhew rips the shot. I believe that either hit the shoulder of Lombard or the side of the net. And 57 seconds remain in Gracia's penalty, and it looks like we're going to have 4 new guys out there. Brokaw will stay put, as he had just topped off a minute before. So now 10-10 goes their shot on goal count. It's been a pretty even period, all things considered. Schneider to take this draw up against Connor Pulley. Tie up off the draw. Both guys trying to kick it now with the skate and send it back to their defenseman. Again, here it's going to go to Keegan Sprang, or Sepke working to keep it in. Up against, in a physical battle, Dylan Bookzak. Lappin couldn't keep it in as he glided into the point. Lappin over here, Brokaw struggling to keep with it. Bookzak is giving chase, and now he's going to have an opportunity on the shorthanded shot, and it's covered up by Kalergis. Man, bad turnover that time. Once again in the defensive zone, we saw that lead to goal number 2 for Walsh Jesuit. It was off the stick of Cam Mayhew that time around. This time, it came from a different source. Here near side, it's Max Brokaw. Shaker with only 20 seconds left to go on the man advantage. This pass goes right off the stick of Lappin, but now they work together along the blue line to try to get it back. Here is Keegan Sprang up the right wing. Up on the left side is Lloyd. Here, rebound chance, and he'll get the shorthanded goal. Mistakes proving prominent here in the first period of the game. For Shaker Heights, already 3 goals popping through for Walsh, and so now Shaker Heights facing their first multi-goal deficit. And keep in mind, they still are on the man advantage for the next 11 seconds. That second line of power play still not working to that same extent as the first line. It just doesn't seem to exactly be working for them, it seems like, at all over the first games of the season. Here, a harsh hit came from Sebi Juan along the near side. No penalty was ruled. And as Walsh Jesuit just dumped this into the Red Raider bench, we'll see where they place this face-off. And honestly, should be out in Walsh Jesuit's zone, and indeed it will be. It'll be to the left side of Lombard to our right side, the near side. Arth to take this draw up against Zurikowski, 21 against 21. And the Red Raider 21 tied up off the draw, and Zurikowski, the other number 21, gliding up the left side here to Bookzak, and he'll pop it right through. Man, oh man, in the blink of an eye, we go from 2-1 to now 4-1. And Walsh Jesuit with the lead. This is the most goals that they have scored against the Red Raiders in one game so far this season. And keep in mind, we still have a minute to go in the first period. This first period has crumbled. Shaker Heights lucky now that this is a period-by-period system. 48 seconds left to go. And now here, bad pass goes right to Pasick. Man, oh man, is this just completely gone awry for the Red Raiders, as that pass went right to Pasick from a Red Raider defenseman. And there's goal number 5. Yeah, Shaker's defense completely losing it here in the final minute. As that's what, it's about 3 goals in the last 30 seconds or so. Now here comes Walsh Jesuit once again. Here comes the shot through between the blue lines. Cole Richard wraps this one around. This will clear out of the zone. Schneider going to give chase. It's going to be a one-on-one rush. Here, Schneider going to rip the shot, and it goes wide. 25 seconds left to go in the first period. This one dumped on. Looking for it that time was Borstein. the young man on defense getting his opportunity here, considering the veterans on defense haven't exactly been doing their job here in the early stages. So here, up along the Walsh Jesuit blue line, Walsh, I believe, just going to hang on to this one. If there's any denial as to whether Walsh Jesuit would get that point for the first period, look at the scoreboard, and that'll tell you who won the first period by a hefty amount. As we mentioned, in the blink of an eye, from 2-1 to 5-1, Walsh Jesuit leads this game through the first 15 minutes. 30 more to go. We'll see if Shaker Heights can crawl back into this one. We've seen it happen against a team like Olentangy Liberty. It's not out of the question as to whether Shaker can do it. The question is just, will they be able to today? Thank you very much for tuning in. Vaughn Ullum on the call. We will be back with you for the middle frame, the second period coming your way after this intermission. Hello, Shaker Heights varsity hockey fans. We enter into the second period in a rather one-sided affair. We didn't expect it in the first 10 minutes of the game to be as one-sided as it now is. Shaker Heights was actually tied up with Walsh Jesuit in a 1-1 score. But then it was 2-1. All was still pretty calm. And then out of the blink of an eye, in about 30 seconds, Walsh Jesuit was able to pop through 3. And Shaker Heights now finds themselves down 5-1. And you can see in the stats, they're not exactly too lopsided. Shaker Heights actually winning a lopsided affair of face-off, 16-7 in that category. But then they are losing shots on goal, 13-10, and shots attempted, 22-15. Shaker Heights has had one opportunity on the power play, has not been able to capitalize. Walsh has not had any opportunity on the man advantage. But the Red Raiders entering into this period, they just need to keep their head up. We saw this in the Padua Holiday Tournament last year, right here in this rink, that Shaker Heights can get a comeback against a top 10 team. Of course, Walsh Jesuit not actually even a top 10 team, but Shaker Heights was able to mount a sort of comeback. Granted, that was with a totally different look on offense and clearly a defensive look that was, I would say, more so put together than what we have seen in that first frame. But Shaker Heights needs to keep their head up. Hopefully, they were able to grab a little bit of momentum out of the intermission, and we'll see what they can put together here in the middle frame. Thank you very much for tuning in. Vaughn Ullum on the call. Let's get you down. Again, Shaker Heights defending the Walsh Jesuit Greg Shupe Memorial title. Here, Cole Richard right off the rip, works his way through. Tries to center it, hits off of a skate in front, and here comes the shot all the way from the point, that time coming from Colin Arth. And here a poke retreating all the way back is Connor Mayhew. And now along the blue line of the Red Raiders side, it goes to Connor Pulley as McGinnis and Cole Richard come out with a lot of speed behind him. Connor Mayhew with quickness off the back check. But now here we go to the captain, Cole Richard. Richard dumping this one down off the stick this time of number 18 of the Warriors, that being Brevin. 14:24 left to go in the second period. 5-1, Walsh Jesuit in the lead. A lot of work to do if you're Shaker Heights and their offense, but granted their defense really has to lock in as well. Too many mistakes, too many very clear mistakes on that Red Raider defensive side. And so now we'll see what they can do. A shorthanded goal even coming against the Raiders. This one launched in off the glass. Shaker Heights getting back over to it. Here Goldstein picks it up in the trapezoid set up behind. Oh, wow. Actually, the new goaltender being Noah Mayan. And here comes actual Schneider. Schneider pickpocketed. Net pass. That it reached Connor Pulley. Would have gone all the way through. So shocking change actually on that side. It wasn't really Kalerza's fault that it got to this point. Hopefully not a sign from the coaches that they've already let go of this game and decided to get more reps out of Noah Mayan. Hopefully that's not the case, and that it is a case of they just want a little different hope or something of that sort. Just a different kind of, I don't know, energy. But here comes Zurkowski. Zurkowski's shot is blocked by a great back check of Elliot Hanna. And now we go up to Isaac James. James pickpocketed from behind by Eni. Sends this one around the boards. Here's Bookzak. Bookzak tried to center it back over to Eni, who was set up right in front of the crease. And here's Cole Richard the other way. Richard creating a 2-on-1. Richard tries the shot, was looking for a rebound chance to be given up to James, but nothing doing. So here Lappin and McGinnis, the two set back. Eni and Bookzak on the forward rush. This pass going through. Here's Isaac James once again back the other way. He's outnumbered, and as he tried to bank that off the boards, he ended up committing friendly fire and just launched the puck right into his own bench. 12:54 left to go in the second period. 5-1, Walsh Jesuit in the lead. Walsh Jesuit, Padua Franciscan, Gilmore Academy, really the three that are competing for the GHL title, at least for right now. Shaker only beating Holy Name, so they should be able. Here comes the shot from Mayhew. Mayhew's shot blocked right out in front, trying to center it back over. Behind the net, here's Juan. Juan tripped up against number 42, eventually getting this one back is Connor Mayhew. Mayhew working to center it here over to Juan. Juan taken down as the puck glides right over to Lombard's crease. He'll cover up for a face-off. 12:25 to go in the second period. But yeah, as University School left the GLHL, it's become a 5-team tournament. So it's basically just a 4-team bracket-style tournament with a little extra play-in game for 4 and 5. But with the way the GLHL has honestly worked, Holy Name is typically the 5. And whoever ends up as number 4 has ended up playing number 1 anyway. So here comes Grasha. Oh, man. Mayan didn't cover up that far side of the net, and whew, had that not gone wide, had that gone just an extra couple of inches over to the right, it would have been an easy goal there for Jesuit. And now here comes Juan the other way. Juan avoids the hit, looks for the centering, feed over to Arth, and Arth able to bury it. He'll go over to the alum of Shaker Hockey, set up along the boards behind the net of Lombard. He'll celebrate with him. You got Ryan Linehan over there. You got Joey Moore over there. You got Andy Benincasa, Eamon Fury. Got them all over there. They decide to celebrate with them. And hopefully, once again, Shaker Heights able to grab a little bit of momentum. Right now, unless Shaker Heights comes back into a winning or tying position, the best they would be able to do is win each of these last few periods. And of these last 2 periods, even winning by a goal would get them 2 points, 1 per period. And as we mentioned, the final result is a 2-period set that's up for grabs. Here, Brokaw tried to center it back over to Cole Richard. Richard and Lazar working together. Richard tries to give it back over to Lazar in the far side corner, but it won't reach him, as breaking it up here was Zurkowski. Zurkowski with Sprang. Sprang up the right wing. Zurkowski pressured from behind by a great back check by Axel Schneider. Schneider and Zurkowski getting into it, and he was thrown into the boards. Extra shove here from Schneider. Now Schneider is going to go up against Eney. Zurkowski set up now in front of the net. Here comes the shot, and it'll go up and over. 9 against 9. Booksack hit Schneider on the shot. Shaker just fighting to get it back, and eventually Cole Richard will try to get it back, but in the far side face-off circle. Getting it back is Eney, and a kick save that time from Mayan. Good work that time. And Cole Richard all over him here off the backhand. Rebound is given up. And Shaker able to take it back. Here's Cole Richard trying to flip this one up to a quick Isaac Lazar. Will he get there first? Oh, he'll bump off Sprang, and he will get there first. Here, Lappin will get over to it. Here's Brokaw. Brokaw looking for the shot, looking for a tip from Lappin. Lappin unable to actually get any contact, and so the save will be made directly from Nathan Lombard. 10:22 to go in the second period. Man, that was a fun little piece of contact out of Isaac Lazar. He did not go for that puck. Full-on decided to bump Sprang away and deeper into the attacking zone, so he would be able to full-on make a loop and get back over to it. Here's Richard on the shot and tried to find his man in front. Here's Goldstein. Goldstein going to wrap it back. Here's Hannah. Hannah waits. Or excuse me, it's actually Sepke out there on defense as he was thrown in. Here's Zabinski with big hits behind the net of Lombard. Sepke and Goldstein skating back. They're up in Shannon. Shannon trying to look for a centered Pasick. Pasick was able to take advantage of a bad turnover in Shaker's defensive zone before. Here, skating it through. Blue line is Lappin. Lappin dumps this one down. Goldstein going to get there first. He'll try to wrap this one back around, but a little bit of a whiff on the wrap. And here back with it is Arth. Arth going to throw this one on net and a glove save. Arth was looking for the hat trick that time. Unable to get it past the glove of Lombard. We'll take an extra sip of water. So Lombard now up against Mayan as the 2 netminders here in this one. Arth, Juan, Schneider going to be your forward 3. On defense, Borstein and McGinnis. Here, this one wrapped around. Sprang is going to get there first behind the net of Lombard. It's wrapped back through. Lloyd up against Schneider. Schneider trying to get it back. Now Lloyd with a cross-ice feed over to the captain, Sprang. Sprang going to go up against McGinnis. McGinnis takes down Sprang, but getting there first still in the Red Raiders zone is Grasha. Grasha with the one penalty of the game to this point. Backhand, forehand, trying to find somewhere to pass it to. But Borstein will get there first, sent up to the point here. Sprang here trying to slap it out of the air and eventually worked through Colin Arth. Colin Arth and Sebi Juan giving chase. Oh, they roll that and icing. And I guess that's technically the right call. It was behind the red line of center ice. And those are the kinds of situations where you find it goofy that if you don't win the race here at the high school level, they still rule it an icing. Because Walsh Jesuit had no chance of getting back to that play first no matter what. But what can you do? Shaker Heights still needs to face the consequences of the high school rule book. Here's Arth and Juan on a 2-on-1. Sprang going to break him up. Here's Arth's shot. It'll go wide off to the right. Rasha will get back to it. He'll find Lloyd. Lloyd, the first goal scorer of the game. He's actually now got 2. Taken down by the captain, Cole Richard. Throwing him down to the ice, and now this pass not going to reach the mark. It was a bank off the boards pass. Juan and Arth trying to get back over to it, and now with the help of Schneider, it'll be kept in the offensive zone. Can they keep it in their own possession? That's the question here. Cam Mayu and Schneider up along the near sideboard. Schneider does send it on net, and it almost took a lazy glide there. And now here Arth looking for a centering pass, but just a bit too late as Connor Pulley went right into his lane of the pass to try and send it through the slot. Oh, here. Right off the hand of Pulley. Pulley will be able to pop this one up into the top left corner. Richard tried to get a little too fancy with it and send it up over the shoulder of Pulley. Pulley able to intercept that one right out of the air, throw it down to his stick, and he was the goal scorer on that one. So we're back to a 4-goal deficit as we entered into the period. And Shaker Heights is able to snatch away a point from this game. Not all hope is lost on the tournament. They would, however, basically need to win their last 2 games, which, again, this is supposed to be their hardest game of the tournament. We'll see if that holds true. Here comes the shot. Stick save that time. And flew all the way out of the netting and out of play. So here Shaker would love to get the point here, though, if they can get it and win this period. That's kind of what Shaker needs to fight for right now. And here Brokaw loses his face-off up against Zurkowski. Here trying to center it back over to Connor Mayhew. Goldstein working his way in. It'll hit off of the man in front. Shaker Heights trying to get it back. Connor Mayhew, Max Brokaw, Isaac Lazar, the 3 forwards trying to make something happen. But here the alternate captain Zurkowski launches this one up and into the near side netting. And we'll get a face-off once again on that Walsh Jesuit side. Still a 4-goal game. We're halfway through this one. 7.5 remaining in the second period. Here Connor Mayhew winning this back to Brokaw. Brokaw's shot got through the 5-hole, but the save was still made by Lombard. Even though he didn't have the best look at it, he was still able to make the reaction save. And Mayhew back on the draw this time up against Van Teegen. It's one back. Max Brokaw. Brokaw looks for another shot. Trying to sneak it through the traffic that was set out in front of him. This one launched all the way down. Will it go on net? No, it'll go wide. And so we will get another icing this time and another face-off specifically over in the attacking side for the Red Raiders. We'll get a new defensive change for Shaker Heights as we get Cole Richard as a right defenseman, and at left is Ted McGinnis. Mayhew, Lazar, and Brokaw still the forwards. Van Teegen once again to take the draw up against Mayhew. Puts one back to the captain Sprang, and will it clear out? Not yet, as Van Teegen couldn't get it past McGinnis, but now here in the mid-slot. Will it clear? And eventually it will. Here Pasick poking this one forward McGinnis will win the race there as he'll throw Pasick off the play, and around the boards, Lazar will not be able to get there up against Brevin. Richard finds Mayhew. Mayhew trying to go cross sights to hit Lazar in stride. Brevin back with it. Up against Richard. Richard going to work to get it back with the help of Brokaw. They will. Hannah fresh off the bench. Loses puck possession to Grasha. Grasha's pass, and now here to spring up along the blue line. This shot goes wide off to the right side. Cole Richard back with it. He'll skate it from blue line all the way up to the opposite blue line. He'll skate past Van Tegem. Richard looking for an open lane to either get a shot or a pass away. And here he'll go for the shot. Rebound was given up for an extra second that time to Mayhew, but Lloyd was able to snatch it away. Here's Walsh Jesuit back with it. Van Tegem will send this one on net. Oh, unable to handle it was Mayan, shaking his head as he has to make another save. And now here Connor Mayhew and Max Brokaw trying to get back to it in the neutral zone. Van Tegem and centering pass to Lloyd will miss the mark. Here, pass up to Mayhew. Mayhew going to send this one down, and he'll hop off for the change. Lappin and Juan out here as forwards. Isaac James join in this as well. Lloyd drops it back to the defensive pairing. Sprang near side, finds Grasha and Lloyd, but stolen away by James. James is just going to dump this one through. And I roll that one in icing as well. Man, oh man, thought he was just in front of the red line of center ice, but .5:23 left to go in this middle frame. The period is even at 1-1. The game not as favorable if you're Shaker Heights. If you're a Shaker Heights supporter. And here, oh, this one almost sneaking through up on the right post that time. Thrown into the far side boards is Schneider. Now here, pass over cross slot looking for Warner Lloyd. Again, already 2 goals on the game here for Lloyd, looking for the hat trick. There, Grieslow thrown along the near side boards. Lloyd just looking for a Hail Mary of a shot that time. And the easy save made by Noah Mayan. 5 minutes left to go in the second period. 6-2 your score. Walsh Jesuit is in the lead in the first game of their host tournament. Zurkowski to take the draw once again. No, this is actually going to go to Dom Eny this time. Eny up against Arth. Arth going to win it back to Cam Mayhew. Mayhew tries to get a pass, but once again, a catch from Grieslow. Kept it in for an extra second, but Zubinski able to take it back into the Walsh Jesuit side, sending it up to Zurkowski. Zurkowski up against the back check of Schneider. Now this one poked away by Mayhew for an extra second, and that shot hits a man in the lane. Here's Bookzak back with it up at the point. He'll send it here. Near side, Zurkowski, the backhand wraps it through, finds the man skating behind the net in the form of Eny, but Eny unable to stick with it. Here's a good move from Arth. Arth looking for goal number 3. No, he'll pass it over to Juan. Juan tries to send it to the corner, looking for a secondary chance, but Shaker can't get it. Here's Mayhew back with it. He'll drop it off to the corner. Here's Ersepke. Ersepke back over to Mayhew. Mayhew going to go for a Hail Mary shot of his own from the goal line, but the save made by Nathan Lombard. 4:03 to go in the second period, a 4-goal game. Bartley continuing to try out the Brokaw, Lazar, and Connor Mayhew line of forwards. This one dumped into the near side of the Warrior side of the ice. Here, over to Mayhew. Mayhew shot blocked right out in front, or maybe it got a piece of Lombard. Regardless, Pasick's pass right to Goldstein. Goldstein trying to clear it out. It's taken over by Shannon. Pasick will get it back here, right out in front. Mayan able to send it astray. McGinnis around the boards. 3.5 left to go in the second period. Here's Connor Mayhew. Mayhew just trying to clear it out of his own pass. Van Tegem and Pasick, and indeed it'll eventually reach Max Brokaw. Brokaw and Lazar working together. And now getting back over to it here, Connor Mayhew. Mayhew takes the shot, and the save made by Lombard once more. Here, centering pass goes awry and right into the stick of Van Teegem. Here's the 3-on-2 if they hurry, but Van Teegem just going to try to dump this one on net as Walsh Jesuit wants to get some changes. Here's Keegan spraying up against a physical play of number 12 in red, and that's Ted McGinnis. And cleared away from Brokaw. It'll go to number 13, that's Borchevsky. And back to the blue line, Pulley's pass right to Goldstein. Goldstein with an extra effort goes to Brokaw. Brokaw on a collapsing effort. We'll get it, Lazar. Lazar clears it down. 2.5 to go in the second period. Lappin, Hannah, James, your forward line. Walsh Jesuit, their pass misses the mark, and it'll go all the way down the ice. That'll be an icing on the Warriors. So with 2.5 left to go in this second period. Again, it's a 1-1 period. It's been a lot cleaner. But, however, as we saw at the end of the period, it's not over till it's over. That first period, again, we saw in the final couple of minutes that 3 goals popped through. I mean, it was a rough scene there in the final moments. Really killed all momentum for the Red Raiders going into that intermission. Hopefully a good conversation from head coach Matt Bartley could get something through to them to get a little bit of energy. And actually, Shaker Heights did come out with a lot more speed and a lot more aggressiveness that we needed to see. Here, Lappin's shot at the post. Man, oh man. That's my puck in the net pick. Almost got something through that time and was able to take the lead on the period. Here, Lappin might play a little bit more aggressively now as he knows he's able to pop one through. Here's Richard with, again, another burst of speed. He's trying to work through Grieslow. Grieslow now up against Isaac James as Richard had to retreat. Here's centering pass over to Juan. Juan tries to find that one, but it went just over the crossbar. Here, kept in at the point. Here's Cam Mayu. Rebound chance was given up to Juan, and this will clear the zone as it hits right off. 90 seconds left to go in the period here. A good snag out of the air by Connor Mayu. Able to stick with it. He's looking for the shot, and he's able to score. Great effort by Connor Mayhew. He did not give up on that play. Able to stick with it. And there you go, Colby Mayhew's puck in the net pick of his own brother Connor Mayhew. His very consistent pick of Connor Mayhew has once again hit here today. And so Shaker Heights now down 3. Once again, we'll see maybe if they can get another one through. This game wouldn't be over whatsoever. Shaker Heights now leads the period by a goal. Oh, here, almost a bad defensive play from Ersepke. We saw that come in about this time in the first period last time. Here, Ersepke gets this one over, and oh, Arth almost able to find his 3rd of the game. Great opportunity that time. Shaker with some great give-and-go play that time. Arth trying to get back over to it. Shaker Heights not giving up in the offensive zone, but now they have to work on the back check as Connor Mayhew bumps Brevin off the play. Oh, this one right in front of Mayan, and that one almost a bad play. Here could be a breakaway, but Lombard going to clear his crease and send this over to his defenseman. And this one sent into the Red Raiders side. Goldstein tries to clear it away as a bank pass right back to himself. Here goes up to Juan. Juan tried to get it back over to Goldstein. Goldstein with a good reach play around Keegan Spring. Goldstein's been looking pretty solid early in the year. Here's Connor Mayhew. Maybe looking for another this time as he tried to deke around number 8-10, Brevin. But now Brevin just going to wrap this one around. Who's going to get there first? It's going to be Ersepke against Eni. Ersepke sends it over to Cole Richard. Richard able with a couple of deke moves, and he's just going to pin it up against the boards. And Shaker Heights will get a point here on the tournament no matter what. They win the period 2-1, so that'll help their standing and not cap things off here with a 5-point dominant win out of Walsh Jesuit. But we'll see if Shaker Heights, they're still down 3. We'll see if they can actually tie things up and maybe make this a really good affair. If actually Shaker Heights was able to somehow tie this up, they would actually, by a miracle, actually technically win it in the name of point by point, but that's something for down the line. we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. Shaker Heights down by 3. 6-3 is your score after the first 30 minutes. We still got quarter of an hour left to go, and game clock will be right back with you for the third and final period. Take a break. Enjoy your second intermission. Shaker Heights, however, down by 3. Hello, Shaker Heights varsity hockey fans. Welcome back into the Brunswick Auto Mart Arena. And what was a dominant game when we got into that second period. Coming out of the second period, it's a 3-goal game, so still pretty one-sided. But Shaker Heights, now in a 6-3 affair, is looking to come back into this one and make something happen, at least winning this third period to get 2 points out of this game. Thank you very much for tuning in. Vaughn Ullum on the commentary. Shaker Heights in that last period honestly dominated every single stat. They dominated faceoffs, 12-5. Shots on goal, 19-5, and shots attempted, 27-12. They're not exactly even in each period as well. So in total, in faceoffs, 28-12, and in shots on goal, 29-18. I mean, Shaker Heights is winning every category that you see. It's just a matter of can they keep laying on that pressure and, like that second period, win this period. And if that is the case, then Shaker Heights will still get 2 points actually out of this tournament game, and it would actually put them only a point below Walsh Jesuit. It'd be Walsh Jesuit at 3, Shaker Heights at 2, and then the other 2 teams in this tournament at 2.5. So really, that would be the most ideal situation for Shaker Heights, of course, if they are not going to win the game. But of course, miracles do happen. Shaker Heights was down 5-1. Now it's 6-3. We'll see what they can do. We'll send you down as we're getting the opening puck drop here on this third and final period. Shaker Heights taking on Rocky River tomorrow. Walsh Jesuit taking on the Menor Cardinals. And here this pass goes awry from Sebi Juan. Juan actually going to start things off on a line with Arth and Schneider. So they're still going to keep Mayhew, I imagine, with Brokaw and Lazar. Trying to spread more of the wealth, I suppose. Here, good back check by Arth. Arth already with 2 goals on this one. The other goal coming from Connor Mayhew. Here, Sepke hopping on with Isaac Lazar. Here joining is Max Brokaw, Connor Mayhew, and Cam Mayhew. So here, 14.5 left to go in the game. Shaker Heights with at least the goal of tying up, or excuse me, of winning this third period. If they lose this period, that would be a pretty rough look. They would only get 1 point towards their standings. Here, Brokaw's shot blocked by Connor Pulley. Why not again, says Connor Pulley as he drops down to a knee and blocks another one. Or Sepke, as this one goes around, meets Brevant. Brevant now up against Connor Mayhew. Mayhew is working to get it back. No, he'll try to wrap it back around. Isaac Lazar going to win the race back to it, and Lazar tries to drop it back over to Max Brokaw. Not exactly a connection there, as he didn't know it was coming his way. This one will go wide of the net, just over to the left side of that left post. Again, Noah Mayan is in currently for the Red Raiders, as Kalergis was pulled after the first period. Mayan letting one pop through on what was almost a breakaway chance. Here, Grislow. Grislow able to take it from blue line to blue line, tripped up, no call, and on his rear tries to make that pass go forward, but at the blue line, Shaker's able to maintain it and try to clear it back the other way. Here's Zurakowski up the far right wing. He'll take the shot, and the save made by Mayan. Here's Hanna. Hanna trying to clear it and center it at the same time to Brokaw. Didn't reach his man. And now here Connor Mayhew off the near side boards. Puck will meet Zurakowski, and the Warriors now try to regroup. Grislow up Bookzak. Bookzak dumps this one along. Dominic Eny going to be the first guy there with Dylan Ursepke. Ursepke banks it off the boards. He'll get back to it. Ursepke tries to clear it out. Ooh, against Dylan Bookzak, who's taken up by Elliot Hanna. Now Lappin, James, and Hanna, the forward line. Hanna hopping off, and now Schneider going to join them. Along the far side, Goldstein, who's done defensively very solid today. Except for, of course, that first period where you kind of could pin a lot on the entire defense of the Red Raiders for what took place in the final moments of that first period. Here, McGinnis keeping this one in. It's ripped around and eventually sent down by Grislow. And Eny somehow able to stick with it past Goldstein. Here's a 2-on-1. Here comes the shot. Rebound was given up. Here's Zurakowski. Zurakowski unable to get the shot off the forehand. Here's Eni up against McGinnis. McGinnis in a physical battle. Bookzak able to snatch this one away. Goldstein finding to get it back. Sophomore against sophomore. Now Arth taking down Bookzak. And that pass into the slot picked up by Goldstein. And Schneider going to be the man able to clear it away. Now back behind the net of Mayan. Captain Cole Richard that time looking for Schneider. Schneider with a burst of speed getting past Zurkowski. Schneider looking for an out wide shot. Rebound given up here to Arth. Arth with a great chance, and it goes wide off to the left. Man, oh man, that was a great opportunity for him to pop through his third. Unable to do so there. Arth getting back to it along the near side. Up against Borchevsky. Arth looking for that third. Here comes the shot. Rebound here to Lazar. Lazar sends it on net, and it was still loose out in front, but the referee blew it dead. And the net was actually out of play, so that's what will get the whistle blown. And Shaker applying some pressure here in the early stages of the third period. 11:23 to go in this third period. Shaker could really use the period win. That would really be... It would really feel like a win getting 2 points out of this, especially after the conclusion of that first period, which was just a really detrimental final couple of moments. Losing the period 5-1. Here's Brokaw. Brokaw sticking with it. Here comes the shot and a glove save out of the left hand of Lombard. Max Brokaw with a great effort sticking with it there. Connor Mayhew, Isaac Lazar, Max Brokaw, the forward line on defense, 22 and 23. Dylan Orsepke and the captain, Cole Richard. Brokaw taking this one up against Connor Pulley. Face off one back by Pulley to Borchevsky. Borchevsky skating it around his own side. He'll drop it back off to Spreng, but he'll actually miss the mark. Spreng didn't expect it to come his way. Here's Mayhew. Mayhew shot blocked right out in front by Connor Pulley. It's going to be Orsepke to get it back. No one covering up at the point. Shaker just trying to get puck possession back and actually stolen away as it clears out of the zone here. Cole Richard trying to skate his way through past the blue line. Here's a great chance, and the shot save made here by Lombard. It's kept in play, just barely knocking off the top of the glass. Brokaw sends it out in front. Here's Richard. Richard trying to drop it back off the backhand. That time to Brokaw. Shaker Heights applying pressure here. Connor Mayhew getting it back. Mayhew trying to drop it back away to the point. Orsepke up against Spreng. Mayhew getting it back. Mayhew drops it off at the corner, tries to find Brokaw, and now it's blocked by Grasha. And Walsh Jesuit, are they going to be able to get it back and clear? No, as Mayhew will be able to free it out to Brokaw. Brokaw in the corner. Frees it behind the trapezoid to Mayhew, but the poke past Spreng will not connect, and it looks like Spreng will be able to clear it out of the zone. Great shift out of the Red Raiders that time. Brokaw trying to connect with Lazar to build one last opportunity that time, and Mayhew back in the Red Raider side. Ooh, tried to pass that one through to Richard. Now here's Lazar. Mayhew hopping off. He'll give it over to the man fresh off the bench, and that's Cam Mayhew, who had a harsh couple of moments for the Shaker defense, but this time Shaker Heights comes in, takes the shot, and it'll clear out from the netting. Shaker Heights with a lot of good pressure here in the last couple of minutes. 9.5 left to go here in the game. We don't go to overtime if there were to be a tied result at the end of the last 9.5. Here's Schneider wrapping this one around. Arth and Juan back out there. Arth having a great game to this point. Here's centering pass right out in front that time. Was looking to the alternate captain in the form of Sebi Juan, but unable to sneak it through. Right now, 6-2, the advantage of shots on goal here. Arth tied up off the draw, but they're able to poke it back over to McGinnis. McGinnis working with Juan to try and keep it with him, but it's poked away here by Pasick, and that's going to be a penalty on Sebi Juan. He just lifted the stick at the wrong moment, and it knocked Pasick's out of his hands, and Juan will go to the box for 2. Oh, they rule it interference. I don't know if that's the call we're looking for, but a call nonetheless. Doesn't exactly matter. He's still in the box for 2 for doing something wrong. 9:09 to go in the third. 2 minutes for Shaker Heights to kill off the penalties. Here an opportunity right off the draw here from Zurkowski. Zurkowski up to the point, finds Bookzak back. Zurkowski And now here trying to get the opportunity, but the captain, Cole Richard, with a great opportunity. He's taking an extra hit down here. We might get a penalty out of Zurikowski, and that'll kill the rest of it off. Coach, frustrated at Zurikowski. He's like, come on, what are we doing that time? Man, oh man, he is eyeing him down from the bench. That is a... Man, number 21 won't have a good conversation with the coach in the locker room after this one. 6-3 is still your score. Shaker Heights now facing 4-on-4 ice hockey for the next minute 42. This face-off will clear out of the zone as it went too quickly past the stick of Cole Richard. Now you're taking it up the left wing. And now putting on the brakes, McGinnis. McGinnis drops it off. Connor Mayhew up against Eni. This one's going to be a race for the puck. And here getting to it first is Connor Pulley trying to get a good stick lift away. Here, rebound chance, and it'll go wide off to the right. Looks like we have a penalty assessed on Shaker this time. And it would go to 4-on-3 as the net is now empty. It's 5-on-4 with the extra attacker out, and Connor Mayhew touches up. Oh, and they'll rule it on Connor Mayhew. They'll call it a hooking. Honestly thought that was just good defense, but they ruled it as hooking. Referee had the better look at it, of course. And now we go to 4-on-3, so a lot of open ice now to try and make something happen. A minute 11 in 4-on-3. Pulley to Arth, and now here the shot blocked by the captain, Cole Richard, who just dumps this one down wide of the net of Lombard. Lombard will leave this to Sprang. Sprang behind the net. We'll wait for something to open up. Pulley will glide past him, and now he'll skate it out of his zone. Arth trying to get back and catch up. Here, Richard trying to get back over to it. Here, up against Sprang. Sprang able to work all the way around the zone and drop it off to the point for Pulley. Pulley looking for a shot, nothing open. He'll get it to Bookzak right up back out in front here to Pulley, and Eni unable to rip a shot. There's an opportunity for the captain, Sprang, but it's cleared away. Good effort that time by Dylan Ursepke. You got 21, 22, and 23 out there for the Red Raiders. Arth, Ursepke, and Richard. An aesthetically pleasing look for the Red Raiders. 7.5 left to go in the third period. We're halfway through this final period. Eni here up against Ursepke. Ursepke able to stick with him. 10 seconds left to go on the 4-on-3. And now it's taken away by Richard. It could be a 3-on-2 if they decide to rush it up. And indeed, Cole Richard will decide to do it all himself. Looking for a shot, nothing open, so now he'll just pull back around. And good play by Richard to kill off time. They have 12 seconds on the 4-on-4 if they want to try to get something going. Here comes Richard, past the blue line on the Walsh Jesuit side. He'll put on the brakes once more. Looking for an open man, it'd be Schneider. Here Richard will just take the shot, it'll go wide. Trying to get it back here is Juan, but now Shaker Heights is on the penalty kill once again. Ooh, Zurikowski. With awkward stick contact right on the puck, it'll fly up and into his own bench. We'll see where the faceoff goes this time. It should be back in the Walsh zone. And Shaker Heights has 26 seconds to kill of Connor Mayhew's penalty. Axel Schneider and Sebi Juan hop off. The 4 out there for the Red Raiders to kill off this final 26 will be Lazar Brokaw as the 2 forwards, and on defense, Cam Mayhew and Ted McGinnis. Here's Sprang trying to work up against McGinnis, but he bumps him off the play up along the boards, and now this one immediately cleared down the length of the ice. Nine seconds left to go on the power play. This pass up to Keegan Sprang. Sprang going to rip the shot. It'll go wide off to the right. 2 seconds, 1 second left to go. We're back to even strength. Mayhew going to join the play immediately with Lazar and Brokaw. Lazar trying to fish it out between the skates of Grasha. Also trying to join is Warner Lloyd, the 2-goal scorer already for Walsh Jesuit. Mayhew able to be the one to fish it out. He'll get it past Zurikowski, who's also pretty fresh out of the penalty box as well. Here Lloyd finds his man right out in front, but Grasha unable to stick with it. This will clear out of the zone and into the neutral zone. Are we going to get any changes? No. And Shaker Heights, can they build more of a pressuring presence? Once again, they were looking to get it off the near side glass and try to hit Schneider and Stride all the way down through the neutral zone. but nothing doing here. Grasha taken down, no penalty assessed there. And Shaker with an opportunity the other way. Once again, here's Schneider up to Lazar. Lazar near side. He's bumped off the play by the big man, Zabinski. Schneider gets back to it off the backhand. He thought Lazar would still be set up along that near side. He was not, so Lloyd takes it over. Lloyd drops it off Grasha. Kick of the skate, but a good clear right out from Dylan Sepke. Here we go, Zabinski. Zabinski sends it right back in where it came from. Goldstein and Sepke, the two on defense. Schneider, Lazar, and Brokaw remain. Here, good opportunity for Lazar, skating it up with Brokaw. With a burst of speed, they could get something going, but ooh, just a bit too much speed out of Brokaw as it'll go offside. Lazar's been out there for a minute. He's going to hop off, and in replacement now for the forwards, we're going to be getting the original first line in the form of Juan, Arth, and Connor Mayhew. Defense will remain Sepke and Goldstein. Referee talking to Booksack here before this one gets going. It's wrapped all the way around from Sepke. Picking it up here, the captain Sprang sends it through past Juan, trying to stick with it. Here's Sepke, and almost keeping it in at the blue line was Connor Mayhew. Now Juan up against Sprang. Sprang able to get through everybody. Sprang looking for the shot, and it'll go wide. Man, oh man, a great opportunity there for number 7 of the Warriors. 4.5 left to go. Here Sepke wraps it around. And now here Juan up against Booksack. Now Eni. Can they just clear it out? No, Borchevsky keeps it in. Here Pulley able to get it near side. And now Booksack back with it. Here's Pulley, and it'll sneak through the 5-hole. Man, Shaker unable to clear it out. And so now Walsh Jesuit leads the period. And so Shaker with a period only in their standings, and if this result holds, it will stay that way. So a rough goal that just snuck its way through between the legs of Noah Mayan. Isaac James, Sam Lippman getting his first minutes, and then Elliot Hanna as well as the forwards. And Lippman, in his very first couple of seconds, sends this one right into the bench of Walsh Jesuit. 4:06 left to go in the third period. So now you could understand if the head coach Matt Bartley was wanting to pull the net empty in the final minutes to try and get that extra half point back for the final period. We'll see what he decides to do, however. An 8-3 loss won't exactly be comforting. Right now, 7-3 your score. Richard tries to send it 5-hole. Lippman going to be the first guy back to it, but he's bumped off the play by passing. Now this pass up to Shannon. That's going to miss the mark. Will it goes in icing? Yes. Indeed, we'll get the late whistle out of the man in stripes. Man, oh man, 7-3. You know, if this result holds, it has progressively gotten worse by a goal. As Walsh Jesuit won the first one 5-3, then 6-3, now 7-3. We'll see. Of course, the 6-3 loss came off of 2 empty netters, so I don't know if that'll exactly count, but you get the argument. Here near side, Booksack. Booksack sends it cross ice, goes off the skate of Zurkowski. Brokaw takes it and dumps it back into the Walsh Jesuit side. 3.5 to go in the game. Near side, Booksack able to snatch it away. Trying to get that turnover is Lazar, who now will try to keep up with Booksack. Booksack stumping this one through. Cam Mayhew gets there first behind the net of Mayan. Putting on the brakes here is Mayhew. Mayhew back over to his captain defenseman. And here, Cole Richard tried to find his man in stride down the left wing, but it'll get past his outstretched stick, and it's an icing. On defense here, Graham Borstein will be back with McGinnis. Connor Mayhew, Colin Arth, Sebi Juan back out as forwards. 3 minutes to go. Pulley up against Arth for the draw. Arth going to be able to win this off the tie-up, and Juan trying to skate it on out, but it'll be poked away here by Brevin. Trying to clear it on a wraparound to the boards. McGinnis holds up a man along the boards. Taken back. Behind the net. Now skating it out is Arth. Arth sends this up. Ooh, thought that could have gotten a bit of the netting, but instead it'll just be an icing as he was back behind the red line of center ice. A lot of icing calls in this game from both sides. 2:40 to go in the third. Looks like it's going to be Pulley against Arth once again on the draw. Shaker won it last time. We'll see if Arth can replicate the success, and indeed he will. He'll win it back to Graham Borstein. Borstein off the backhand, sent back around. Connor Mayhew throws Grasha off the play, off the backhand, tries to clear it, but Pulley will pick it up as the puck dies right above the face-off circle. Here, Brevin. Brevin will look for a shot of his own. It'll go wide off to the right side. Not any elevation on it, too, so it'll just wrap around the board. Shaker will clear it once again, and, well, if you didn't have enough icing when I said it last time, you got another one. 2:17 to go in the third. 7-3, your score. Walsh Jesuit leads. We'll get the face-off flip from the near side face-off circle to the opposite. So this time it'll be to the left of Noah Mayan. And that pass back will clear out. Lippman, James, Hannah, your forward line. Delayed offside. Shaker touches up in the neutral zone. This cross-ice feed will hit off the stick of James. Lippman trying to get back to it. He's held up from behind. We're going to get a penalty this time for a hooking. We'll see. Who does coach decide to send out there? It's going to be Arth. It's going to be Richard, Juan. And who else? We might get a timeout here, as looks like Shaker's going to fully collect back on their own side, and indeed they are going to. So Shaker Heights right now in the third period, once again winning faceoffs. That has not been a problem whatsoever, which is honestly, typically we see that pretty even, but in shots attempted, man, in this period and in shots on goal, they have them doubled up 6-3 here in the third period. They just aren't able. Lombard once again with some phenomenal work. Shaker Heights honestly playing some of their best offensive hockey when it comes against the Warriors. However, they're just unable to play good defense and help out their goaltender whenever they do play Walsh Jesuit. And they have some quick guys themselves. This is kind of a team that is alike to themselves, where you got not a whole lot of size, like something you would see out of another team. Like, I'm trying to think like University School over the past years or something like that. But Shaker Heights and Walsh Jesuit, honestly, a fun game to watch because they're not that sizable, but they're guys that are just quick, and you get good hockey out of the two of them. But the difference is Shaker Heights will play phenomenal offense from these games against the Warriors, but their defense will just fall behind. Noah Mayan will stay out there for the Red Raiders, as he'll give a little appreciation to Kalair just as they talk things over. Sprang and Zubinski, the two defensemen. Zurkowski and Pulley, the two forwards for the Warriors. Lazar to take the draw. Over to his right is going to be Juan to try and help him out on the tie-up. Looks like Sprang will try and clear it away, but Lazar gets there first. Right out in front, was looking for a man that was centering himself, and that was Colin Arth, who was looking for the hat trick. Here, Cole Richards skates it from his own blue line to the opposite blue line. Will he look for the shot? Indeed he will. Rebound was given up, but Juan wasn't able to pull the trigger as the puck didn't land to his stick. Remainder of the period will belong to the power play. Here, a rebound opportunity, and this one will clear out. Noah Mayan will also clear away from his crease. The net is empty. Here's Cole Richard back with it, avoiding the stick lift of Connor Pulley. Shaker Heights in a 6-on-4 now. Glove save from Lombard. So Mayan is off. The extra tech that was out and remains out is Axel Schneider. Surprised we didn't get Lappin actually as the extra guy. As Lappin has had some great opportunities, but Schneider has actually as well. He was able to score one through that Padua Holiday tournament. Juan drops it off to the point. Shaker with time. Richard takes that shot. It'll hit the stick of a man in front. Shaker Heights with a minute. Connor Mayhew looks for an opportunity. Here's Juan. Juan will rip the shot. Rebound opportunity, and it'll go wide off to the right. Mayhew will deliver it back to the point. Cole Richard. Richard back Mayhew. Mayhew looking for a chance. Mayhew will rip the shot. Did it get through? Oh, it's still loose out in front. Trying to bank it off the back, and now referee blows the play dead as it looks like the net might have been off. No. Yeah, man. He just blew it prematurely. That is a rough look. Shaker Heights sticking with their 6 men out. Now we're getting Dom Eni, and Pulley will still be one of the forwards here for the Warriors. Cole Richard sends it cross ice up to the opposite point. Arth back Richard. Richard brings it in, takes the shot, and it'll hit the traffic in front. Mayhew looks for Michigan at first, and now that shot from Lazar goes wide. Man, I don't know if now's the time for a nifty move like the Michigan. As it looked like for a second he was going to try to score one of those, and here as the shot is blocked, it'll clear out of the zone. Here Keegan Sprague will steal it in the neutral zone and dump this one in. Arth banging his stick onto the ice. Man, oh man. Arth just physically beaten by number 7, Keegan Sprague, and the captain, the defenseman, able to solidify a 4-point standing performance for the Warriors. Shaker with 10.5 seconds remaining will take a point out of this game. And we'll see how they're going to be able to approach Rocky River tomorrow. Taken down off the draw there was Isaac James. Hannah still giving fight with Littman by his side. And now Walsh Jesuit pins this up against their bench boards. And that will conclude the game at an 8-3 final. If this game shows you anything, it's honestly changes in momentum. You saw the final moments of that first period that really took the breath out of this game. Had we not had as big a differential as we had at the end of that first period, it very well could have been a very, very different game as to what you saw in the end. Noah Mayan getting replaced after that first period and coming in for the last 30 minutes of the game, whether that was a move of what they thought would be a better move on what could have been an off day maybe for Calergis, or what could have been just almost a conceding move as they wanted to get Noah Mayan more reps. Regardless, Noah Mayan honestly did play pretty solid in his performance. He honestly did very well. He still is struggling with rebounds, but Noah Mayan, as your backup option, is still looking good here for the Red Raiders. But Shaker Heights still, honestly, nothing too bad when you look at the stats. I mean, they dominantly won faceoffs 41-17. They dominantly won shots on goal 41-24. And shots attempted, they won that by 9, 52-43. Shaker Heights did all right in the name of their game. And as we mentioned, Shaker Heights doing well on the offensive side, and it's up against Walsh Jesuit. However, in every single time they have played Walsh Jesuit, November 16th, December 14th, and now here on December 26th, Shaker Heights has scored 3 goals in each of those games. They have just been outdone in a 5-goal performance, a 6-goal performance, and now an 8-goal performance for Walsh Jesuit. So it's just a matter of defense when it comes up against a different team and a quick team of the Walsh Jesuit Warriors, which is something that they need to figure out down the road. And we're actually going to call one last game against Walsh Jesuit there on the 3rd, so we will, of course, update you on that as we go along. So Shaker Heights exits out of this game with 1 point towards the standings, and for Walsh Jesuit, they will lead after day 1 with 4 points. Rocky River and Menor stuck in the middle at 2.5 after their 4-4 tie. So Shaker Heights goes in tomorrow, taking on Rocky River with 2.5 points. We'll let you know how that game goes. Again, that'll be at 10:40 in the morning tomorrow. We'll be back here at the Brunswick Auto Mart Arena. Vaughn Ullum signing off.